What's up, y'all? After the interview I had with Teofimo Lopez several days ago, the world of boxing is buzzing for the potential matchup between Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez. Y'all already know this matchup will set records or break records. This is a lucrative matchup, probably the best matchup and probably the biggest fight in the sport of boxing 2024 if it could potentially be made. The only message is to Teofimo Lopez is, do not fumble the bag. Do not fumble the bag. Now, I believe a lot of people in boxing, a lot of fans, a lot of pundits, a lot of media folks believe in Teofimo Lopez when he goes up against an elite fighter. The thing is with Teofimo Lopez is that a lot of people feel that he fights to the level of his competition. A lot of people feel that if you go up against Ryan Garcia, especially where Ryan Garcia is now, with his momentum, beating a pound-for-pound fighter like Devin the Dream Haney, is that a lot of people now really respect Ryan Garcia as an elite fighter. He was not even an elite fighter when he faced Gervonta Tank Davis. He was not an elite fighter, or at least people gave him the respect of an elite fighter going leading up to the Devin Haney fight. Remember, he was just a TikToker, an Instagram uploader, a social media superstar. But now for the first time, the masses, the people, the media, the pundits, the active fighters, the former fighters, everybody knows that Ryan Garcia is the real deal. He's respected as an elite fighter today. Teofimo Lopez is respected as an elite fighter today because of the accomplishment and what he has earned and gained by beating elite champions like Vasily Lomachenko when he was regarded pound for pound. 1, 2, 3, you can flip it around. When he beat Josh Taylor, when he was regarded pound for pound and the king in the 140-pound division. But the only hiccup with Teofimo Lopez is that he fights to the level of his competition. So going up against Ryan Garcia, a lot of people going to have a lot of confidence in Teofimo Lopez. But going up against a Steve Caggett, a lot of people don't know which Teofimo Lopez is going to show up. And that's what it is. Do not fumble the bag with a Steve Caggett. Do not fumble the bag. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. Anticipation sells. Vulnerability also sells in the sport of boxing. Teofimo Lopez has done well, but he's also killed his own buzz. As much as I understand, you know what I'm saying? I understand the reason why Teofimo Lopez announced his retirement. But the people, it don't matter to the people. I believe after the Josh Taylor fight, when everybody was invested in Teofimo Lopez, in that moment he beat Josh Taylor, when he proved a lot of people wrong, a lot of people thought of Teofimo Lopez the way a lot of people thought of Ryan Garcia leading up to the Devin Haney fight. Oh, he's mentally unstable. Oh, he's not going to win. Oh, he's not ready for Josh Taylor. Oh, he needs a mental evaluation by the New York State Athletic Commission. He humbled the whole boxing world just like Ryan Garcia humbled the world, the world of boxing several weeks ago. Teofimo Lopez killed his own buzz when he announced the retirement because everybody was like, what is he going to do next? Nobody could beat Teo. What about Teo and Tank? What about Teo and Haney? What about Teo? What about Teo? And then it's like, nah, there is no anticipation. Remember, anticipation sells. So when you kill the anticipation, then what happens? I know there's fighters out there that feels like, you know, their business is not right with their current promoter or promotional deal and things of that nature. You feel me? It's just like Fat Joe said, right? Yesterday's price is not today's price. Feel me? And then after the Josh Taylor fight, we understand that Teofimo Lopez price before that is not today's price after the Josh Taylor. Also, Teofimo Lopez also feel like, you know, he feels that he's an A-side as well. We see them go back and forth with Devin the Dream Haney before the Judge Cambosa. He feel like he's the A-side. He feel like the A-side versus if he was going to be fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. His accomplishment is A-side, but the business of boxing doesn't entail that when it comes to Ryan Garcia. That's another way that Teofimo Lopez can't F up or fumble the bag. You know, he got to understand also where Ryan Garcia is now. He is the cash cow of this young generation right now. Him and Gervonta Tank Davis. It's unfortunate that the guy that has accomplished the most is not. But it is what it is. The business of boxing is just the business of boxing. Like people say, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Even though that men invented numbers, But you understand what I'm trying to say. Can't play hardball where Ryan Garcia is at right now. All you got to do, the A side, be Ryan Garcia and be the A side. You have the money, you have the moolah, and you have the accomplishment. You have the whole shebang bang. But he cannot fumble the bag versus the potential opponent that he's going to be facing in June. Shit, I'll tell you like this, man. Probably Teofimo Lopez should just be like, and look, the other guys like Sandor Martin and Jermaine Ortiz, I don't believe they came to win. They made it impossible in the end of the day, but yet they are anticipating Teofimo Lopez to take care of the business, to quote unquote cut off the ring, and he's putting these fights because they feel like he's going to go out there and win these fights in spectacular fashion. The problem is not him facing Ryan Garcia. The issue is for most people is him not fighting to the level of his competition versus Steve Kagi. Because if he does not take care of Steve Kagi like he's supposed to, and go a whole 12 or a whole 10, look sluggish, not look special, because he's there to tailor-made. Steve Kagi is tailor-made for Teofimo Lopez to take out. If he does not sustain the momentum of this possible matchup of Ryan Garcia, he will fumble the bag. He got to captivate the imagination, the emotions of the boxing fans, not only when you're facing the good, when the brightest light, but also when these fights, when they're put in front of you, you got to take them out. If Teofimo Lopez takes care of business in June, then, ladies and gentlemen, the anticipation of Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo Lopez is huge. An explosion, the biggest fight in the sport of boxing and the most anticipating fight in the sport of boxing. Ryan Garcia is already there. Shit, I'm thinking about that, man. Teofimo Lopez should even avoid a Steve Kagi. It only would be 7 months, right? The last time he fought was in February. March, April, May, June, July, August, September. He said he will fight Ryan Garcia in September. That's only 7 months. That's not too long of a layoff, especially now in the current state of the sport of boxing where champions do fight 2 times a year. Do you feel, folks, that Teofimo Lopez, because you feel like he may not fight to the level of his competition, should he avoid Steve Kagi and just go straight and wait for it and fight Ryan Garcia in September? Some people may say yes. Some people may say no. I feel if Teofimo Lopez is going to go into training camp and going to train for Steve Kagi like he trained and taking it serious, and I'm not saying he don't. I think he takes everything serious, but I also think that Teofimo Lopez also put pressure on himself to perform to the level of his expectations. I think he put pressure on himself to perform and be a showsman versus Sandor Martin. He went with that mindset. The same thing with Jermaine Ortiz. It was the Teofimo Lopez show. Right? I think he put a lot of pressure in the performance, not only just to win the fight, but how he wants to win the fight, which is important, which is the takeover as well. He is one of the showmen in the sport of boxing. He's one of the most exciting fighters in the sport of boxing. So being exciting is part of his character. It's part of the takeover. When the lights are bright, he shows up and he beats these guys like if he was in another level. Like he did versus Vasily Lomachenko, like he did versus Josh Taylor, like he did versus Richard Comey. But then we get the Nakatanis of the world and the Sandor Martins of the world and the Jermaine Ortiz of the world. It's like, and the Cambosos of the world. It's like, what? That's not supposed to happen. So as a seesaw, he has to sustain the momentum. So Teofimo Lopez cannot fumble the bag. And also leading up to the fight, also gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, I respect Teofimo Lopez in the wisdom that he's trying to explain to the people, the business side of the sport of boxing, the corruption side, the politics side. Yes, I think there's a time and place for all of that. You know what I'm saying? I think the more that you are in the sport, the more wisdom that you gain. The older you are, the more wisdom you gain. And the more that you have fans, the more they want to know the person. Right now, they just want to know the fighter. They just want to be entertained by Teofimo Lopez, not entertained on what he may believe in outside of the sport of boxing. It's a time frame for that. A lot of people was giving me the feedback of when me and Teofimo Lopez was chopping it up on the channel a couple of days ago. They like his demeanor. They feel like this was the old Teofimo Lopez. And look, there's growth. There's a lot of things that you want to share with the world, whether it's faith, whether it's wisdom, whether it's just anything, right? But right now at this point, people want Teo and people want Ryan. They want that fight talk. They want that boxer talk. They want to know like, yo, this is in anticipation. This is reachable. So the Teofimo Lopez camp is all about getting Ryan Garcia, all about winning in June and getting that Ryan Garcia fight. That's it. Keep your eyes on the prize, because I'm saying like this: when Teofimo Lopez got his eyes on the prize, like he did when he was calling out Vasily Lomachenko, when he was calling out Josh Taylor, and now he's calling out Ryan Garcia. Teofimo Lopez is as serious as it comes. Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo Lopez, the two juggernauts, the two guys that a lot of people lost confidence at one point, and the two guys that has humbled the boxing world like nobody has done in this generation. Two guys that's been written off. Two guys that has been humble you all. Two guys that is speed and power, explosive. Teofimo Lopez, one of the most athletic, probably the most athletic fighter in the sport of boxing. And you don't know what's going to happen, because there is anticipation, there's vulnerability, and there's some greatness in the hearts of both of the fighters. And both of these guys are willing to fight anybody, anytime, any place. Ryan Garcia called out Teofimo Lopez before he was going to fight Gervonta Davis, or before Devin Haney. They asked him, what other fighters do you want to fight next? He mentioned Teo. Teo mentioned Ryan. Let's get this fight in September. Can you imagine? September, Honduras, and Mexican Independence Week? Because they around the same time. Huge. Or maybe December for the traditional Teofimo Lopez Heisman night. Madison Square Garden this time. Not Barclay, but the Mecca.